Look, if the reports are true that the Dragons really went hard at Turuva with an incentive-based contract with KPIs and all this stuff, I think if that is the case, they've overcomplicated their message to Turuva, and maybe that scared him off a little bit.
Mm.
And if you think of it through a player's eyes, and you've got a player manager sitting right next to you, in your ear, talking through the whole process, there's also a message there that if it is incentive based about playing a certain amount of games at fullback or playing on the wing, then maybe that says to Turuva that the Dragons don't think that he's a good enough fullback or a good enough winger or whatever it might be, and maybe that message got lost. Where I think West Tigers' offer might have been a little bit more straight down the line. You'll have the opportunity to challenge for fullback, but we can't promise you that. No one can promise that. And we've seen that so many times when players sign for other clubs that, they're going to get fullback money and they end up playing in different positions. So, maybe there, I think the Dragons, if the reports are true, that they may have kind of got a little bit wrong and maybe scared Turuva off a little bit. You do have to remember that he's a junior champion in junior reps at Penrith as a fullback, from what I believe as well. But he's already a game-winning winger at the Panthers, and in the sense that he scores tries for fun and does it one-on-one when he gets a little bit of space on the outside. So I think if they kept it really straightforward and said, this is our future, this is where we're going, we want you part of this, we'll give you the chance to challenge for fullback, but we want you part of the team to start with because you're such a good talent. That's a different argument to saying, well, this is how much money we can give you, but if you don't play enough games at fullback, this is how much you get as a winger. I think that kind of convolutes it for
it does. It complicates the whole thing. And the Tigers have simply come in and said, hey, we want you to play. You're going to play in the centres, and you're also going to be back up to Jareem Buller, and you might have a chance to play some fullback.
And who says Buller doesn't have a season in like a Cody Ramsey thing? Like, and all due respect to Cody Ramsey, I hate to bring him up as an example, but who knows what's around the corner? So,
and it's not like Buller has an absolute lock on that number one jumper. If I don't want to upset you, Kerr, but if the Tigers were to lose the next 12 in a row, then there's no guarantee that when 2025 runs around, they might want to try Turuva at that fullback position. So things can change so quickly.
You've got no idea what's around the corner. So to say to someone like Turuva, when particularly, and again, if this is correct, when you're at the bottom of the rung, a bottom four team that is trying to restart your program, to turn around to someone like Turuva, who's already in the top echelon of outside backs at a club that's won 3 straight premierships, to say, we want you, but we're going to pay you so much depending on where you play, that just confuses the whole thing to me. So, I think maybe West Tigers played it a little bit more black and white.
Yeah.
And maybe the Dragons need to learn from that, because there are going to be a lot more losses, but they'll eventually pick up some signings, but they need to learn from that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I'm just kind of looking at the off-contract players for 2024, and I just don't know where they're going to get a whole lot of quality from, Kurt. Like they desperately need help in that kind of middle third of the field, and I'm just kind of looking on the Zero Tackle website of some of those middle forwards, whether that kind of be lock or prop, and I'm looking through some of the names of the props that are coming off contract, and there's no one there that jumps out. And no disrespect to any of these players, but a lot of kind of average, kind of beige NRL players, like guys like Liam Knight and Jermaine Tanoa-Brown, Chris Patolo, Jared Wallace, Matt Lodge, those kind of guys. So yeah, I think it just worries me. Not saying that Turuva would have solved the issues in the forward pack, but I think it would have kind of given us a quality player in the back line, and maybe given the club a bit of confidence, and maybe even encourage other players to say, hey, I'd love to play with a Sunia Turuva. I'm going to sign with the Dragons as well.
Yeah. Look, but again, at the end of the day as well, it's easy for us to play Moneyball on a Tuesday night in April and say, these are the guys that are off contract. But you have to also remember too, that clubs themselves are always daily looking at their rosters and their squads for next year and looking at players that they can possibly squeeze out depending on what they need or plays coming up or that kind of stuff too. So there's, as always, lots of moving parts, but I can understand the frustration for Dragons fans when it certainly appeared from the outside looking in that it was between the Dragons and West Tigers, and the Panthers simply couldn't keep him. So what did the West Tigers do that much better than the Dragons to get him? That's the big question.
Yeah, it's something that's I'm sure we're going to talk more about, and who knows, things may turn around for the Dragons in terms of their recruitment in the future, but at the moment it's frustrating to be a Dragons fan seeing some of these quality players come off the books. There was a bit of positivity for the Dragons on the weekend. Their men's and women's junior reps